Good morning, trading world. It is June 28th, 2022, and this is my pre-market outlook and technical analysis for day trading the SPY. Stall, consolidation, how much longer in this sideways trade? I have talked extensively about consolidation as in the analogy of the market being a runner in a marathon. In a marathon, the runner can't run forever. So there are stage areas where there is a water and Gatorade alongside the course so runners can refuel. Right now, the market is refueling. Runners enter this area and almost come to a stop, sometimes running in place while they drink. The market does the same thing, consolidating, going back and forth over the same range, building energy for the next breakout. It looks as though we will spend the entire week in consolidation, so don't be surprised to test the middle of the trend channel again, then building energy for another pop up, resulting in a big bear market rally over the next month or so. While I have it here, let's see if I can find that range. Okay. Just to kind of focus on where we are, this is a 4-hour chart. And the middle of that range puts us down around that 384 area. So we may get a test back down to here, may or may not, but get one more somewhere between here and here before pushing up again. But this morning, expect an early pop at the open and then a possible fade later in the day. Let me bring up the key levels for the day. All right, here we are with the key levels of the day. On the resistance side, we have our jack resistance at 390 to the 391 area. Queen resistance, we have 392 to the 394 area. And then king resistance, 395 to the 400 area. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on this 393 to 394 area. It is going to be extremely difficult to break out of, but it can be done. But it's going to take a bounce off and maybe a few tries before breaking through that 393, 394 area. And then we're going to have the same type of resistance even later on down in the week. This will still carry, but around that 397 area as well. On the support side, we have our jack support at 389 to the 388 area. Then we have our queen support 387 to the 385 area. And this holds the middle of the trend channel. That's going to be very important. And then our king support area is 384 to the 381 area. The main thesis for today is bearish, closing below the 388.59 with a projected target low of between 388 and 385. Our alternate thesis is bullish, closing above the 388.59 with a projected target high of between 393 and 400. The current channel we're in is 379 up to 397. With that, let's bring up the scenarios of the day. All right, our first scenario is going to be our expanded range day structure. We can look to set a decision area high boundary around the jack or queen resistance area before pulling back. We're going to pull back and at some point find support. And again, I'm thinking somewhere around that 385 area. As you all know, if you follow, the range day structure is the hardest to plot because there's so many different variations that could take place. So the key thing about a range day or expanded range day is that we usually find a high and a low, and this blue line represents the previous close. We usually chop back and forth at some point around that previous close. So that is the key thing that separates the range day, is that we usually go back and forth through that previous close. All right, let me bring up the next scenario. Okay, scenario number 2 is our rounded reversal day type structure. We could get a continued push higher toward the jack or queen resistance area and find midday chop around either the queen or king resistance area before spending the same energy we use going up to come back down the second half of the day. As always, there's usually a vice versa warning on the rounded reversal day type structure, so you need to be prepared for seeing something like this. For today, where we get a continued push lower instead, headed toward the jack or queen support area, and then finding our midday chop on either the queen or king support area before rallying the second half of the day. So that's the rounded reversal day type structure we should be prepared for. All right, our last scenario is our trend day up day structure. It means usually we open gap up and then start with a fade back toward the previous close represented by the blue line. Then we find support on or before that previous close and begin our uptrend for the morning. We find midday chop either around the possible queen or king resistance area. A key note for today is that it may be possible that most of the trend up happened in the overnight session. So as you can see, we have a nice wall of resistance built here, and it could be possible that we fade back down and spend most of the day going back up and pretty much retie back into that wall of resistance and fade off of it again. So that is a possible scenario. Again, like I said earlier, this 393 is going to hold a lot of resistance at it. So even on the trend day, if we do get above this 390 area, look for that 393 to hold quite a bit of resistance. So those are the scenarios of the day. As always, be very, very careful. Always know and understand the risk that you have in each position, because your number one job as a trader is to protect the capital because you can't make any money if you lose the money that you have. So again, number one job is preservation of capital. And you do that by understanding your risk. With that being said, I'm going to close out today's pre-market. As always, wishing you a positive trading day. Have a great one.